What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, Freeman Charles? Let me zoom out a little bit so y'all can there we go. Jimmy Rousseau. How's it going? What's up, Satya? Satya? I'll wait for a little bit more people to get in here, but there's two things that I could potentially work on in this stream. One of them is trying to upgrade or migrate a starter kit / my template off of Lucia Auth. Just try to read through the docs and understand what's really changing about that. Probably wouldn't be too hard to do. What's up, man? People on Twitch. Leben Desvistas. What's up, Mountain Dev? MDN Dev. How's it going, y'all? Let me go to live chat up here. Excuse me. How's it going? Yeah, so it's either work on that, read through the docs, try to refactor my code to not use Lucia Auth, or I was trying to bring in Stripe subscriptions to the Video Crafter app and just work on that. Or I could just chill and talk to the chat. I mean, it's up to you. You guys pick. You guys let me know. Or something else. Honestly, I don't care. You guys let me know what you guys want me to do. Hope the fellas on YouTube are all right, too. My YouTube fellas are always all right. What's up, SSH Keys with a Z? Any preferences? What you guys want to do on this stream? You could just stare at me the whole time. Would that be cool? Let's see, what did change with Lucia Auth? I mean, it looks like they have a bunch of examples how I can use it. I am using Drizzle, so it probably won't be too hard to do. I'm interested how you'd the event queue system / lambdas with Convex. Or if it's outside of it. You talking about for the video crafter? Basically what I do, if that's what you're asking, when I try to create the video, I send off a bunch of events to an SQS queue in Amazon, and then I have lambdas that read from that queue and just generate the different segments. And then when those all finish, it then kicks off another event into a different queue, and that queue gets picked up by a different lambda called the Finalizer lambda, which basically pulls all the videos together, concatenates them, and adds some music, or at least it used to add music. It doesn't add music anymore. What's up, Ray? How's it going? What do you think about Convex Auth? I'm using Convex Auth right now in the Video Crafter. I think it's pretty good. I have run into some strange issues with Next.js where it seems to log the user out a lot. And I don't know why. I think there's a bug they're looking into or something. But it's supposed to keep your session alive for like 30 days or something from what they've said in the docs. But I'm literally like, I'll come back to my app randomly and I'm logged out and I have to log back in. So that's my one complaint with it. I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully they fix it. But it's nice not having to depend on a third-party auth service just to spin up a Convex project. Because that was like their go-to recommendation is like, okay, just use Clerk or just use OAuth, or sorry, use Auth0 or something. But why use Convex instead of NextAuth? Those are not really this. Like you're comparing apples to oranges there. Convex is a backend as a service. NextAuth is an auth library. And it's not even NextAuth anymore, it's Auth.js is what you should probably be using, which is a beta library that'll probably be beta forever. I prefer session auth or token-based auth. Right now, I'm kind of a fan of session auth just because it's very easy to like invalidate someone. With tokens, you can't really invalidate them unless you add in a bunch of like revoke list things where you can like revoke the tokens. And even so, like when you start adding that, it's like you might as well just use session-based auth. Have I used Contentful? No, I have not. I think I made one video on it just for fun like years ago. I need to delete that video because I guess back then I didn't know what a headless CMS was. And I wanted to make a video on it. But now that I think about it, I'm just giving them free advertising basically. Let's see. Anyone? Can you talk about NextAuth and Next.js and how you handle client-side versus server-side session? Well, the server side, you basically just call a method and say, "Hey, give me my user." Behind the scenes, that's gonna like check your token, make sure it's valid, and then give you back the user ID and all this other stuff. In the front end, there's usually a method called like isAuthenticator or something. Does Firebase have a generous free tier? I've never used Firebase before. Yeah, I don't really use NextAuth or Auth.js right now. Like I switched over to Lucia Auth just because I think Auth.js is a very a little too opinionated, and it's very coupled to edge compute and how like Next expects you to deploy. And at that point, I just switched off of it. But now, since Lucia Auth is deprecated, that's what you get for adopting a library that's maintained by one person. You know? But I knew the risks. Alright, SaaS Starter Kit. I guess I could just try to refactor this. Don't know how far we'll get. Alright, so how do I run this thing again? Am I using Docker? I am. Docker compose up. I don't think I have my Docker daemon running. You have to use session on the client. Session is null at initial load. Yeah, honestly, it's going to be very hard to like help you debug. How would you interview a mid-level Node.js dev? Probably just have a conversation with them. Pick their brain, see what they explain, see what they have done in the past. Honestly, I don't really interview people at my job. I can like opt in to interview people, I just never do it. I'm not a team player, you know. Port is already allocated. Okay, there must be a Docker. I think I already have a container running. Which one is running? Don't need that one running. Let's stop that. Meme generator. In fact, let's just delete that one. Don't need it. Definitely don't need that. Don't need that. Delete that forever. Okay, that's running. I haven't run the starter kit in a while. Oh yeah, let me also close out of that. Hold on. Stop both of those. Take this off over there. I would give them cursor and let them cook. Honestly, for interviewing people, it's like either you're a developer or you're not. Like I've interviewed people who said they have 15 years of experience, and I asked them to explain like how would I verify this function that you wrote will work over the next like 5 years. And I was like, you know, like I don't want to like I'm trying to lead the witness of like just okay, can you just say the word unit testing? Can you say the word integration testing? Can you say the word automated testing? And they could not like articulate how would they verify a function doesn't break from other developers changing the code if like you want it to be maintainable in 2 years. And then even if you ask like, okay, so let's dive into your understanding of how you test, and you start asking questions about testing, and they don't even know how to answer those questions. You're like, okay, don't know how you've been coding for 15 years, and you don't even know how to talk about testing. So that's definitely a no for me. That's probably why I don't interview people too. Have you thought about doing something with a Raspberry Pi? No, not really. I think yeah, I'm not really too big into the whole like the physical side of like electronics and electrical engineering and stuff. Do I use Docker for every project? For the most part, yeah. Unless I'm like, unless I'm like, yeah, using Convex, and yeah, I use Docker for my database typically and other things. Change my channel logo. Are you kidding me? This is how people recognize my videos, by my awful cyan color logo. Why not keep using Lucia or copy its needed code to your code base? What's there to maintain? Honestly, that is an option. I could fork it and just be like, yo, this is the version I'm going to use forever. And like, who cares? It's, if people are saying Lucia Auth isn't hard to like move off of, then yeah, just fork it, maintain it yourself. I could probably fork it and just get my community to like work on it too. Okay, let's go here. I think I remember saying the schema wouldn't change at all. Oh, slow encoding, okay. So step one is like, let's go here. Actually, step one is like, let's load up the app. I have not run the starter kit app in a while. Yo, what's up with the font though? Font looks bad. Is that how it always looked? Yo, I think someone changed the font on this thing. What happens when you accept PRs from people? Start changing stuff that you're like, okay. Libri Franklin? Maybe I chose that font. Anyway, let's go to package and let's find Lucia, and then let's find anywhere in the code base. Deleting both of those. Let's just watch the application fail now. Okay, and then, no, what did I do? Okay, so it's imported a couple places. Oh, I don't think I've even installed those. Hold on, let me install these. Here's what our API will look like. What each method does should be pretty self-explanatory. The session token should be a random string. We recommend generating at least 20 random bytes for a secure source. Do not use math random and encoding it with base 64. Back at this until we get it working. Okay. What was the last one? Invalidate session. Here's the full code. Oh, okay, I could have just grabbed this code. Very awesome. Using your API, when a user signs in, generate a session token with generate session token and create a session linked to it with create session. Valid user provided token was okay. Where do I even log in? I forget. All right, anywhere that we're doing Lucia auth, let's just get rid of it. Looks like that's it twice. Adapter can go away. Lucia can go away. Validate request. Probably needs to go away. This stuff goes away. That's from Arctic, so we might be able to keep that around actually. All right, so here are the methods we just brought in. And then also this, I think. Let's see, does my session table match what needs to be ID, user ID, and expires at. When I'm working with a local DB, is the correct way to set up the tables across container restarts by using migrations? I mean, using local Postgres, for example, not a DB as a service. Using the correct way to set up the tables across container restarts. Yeah, I mean, I would probably always just have like all your migration scripts in a folder, and anyone who were to clone your project from scratch could get the entire database and all the tables set up by just running all those migration scripts again. And if you need to do like a hard reset on all the data, you can just delete your database and then like recreate it and rerun your migration scripts. So like for example, in Drizzle, we have like, I just have one migration script that creates all the tables here. But as you keep adding more and more migrations, I would probably just keep them, like don't delete them, keep them here. So you can like reinitialize everything from scratch. I think that answers your question, hopefully. Yeah, I use a virtualized keyboard sound. It's called Clack. I think it's tryclack.com. Why is Lucia good? What are your favorite aspects? The reason I like Lucia is because I can use a session type of database, like the session authentication. In Auth.js and Next.js, you can use sessions, but then when you start trying to add like username and password login, I just kept running into a bunch of issues. Maybe I didn't spend enough time trying to like understand it, but like if you read through their docs, they're very opinionated on like do not add username password authentication to your applications. And I don't like I understand where they're coming from, but as a person trying to build an application, like your business owners don't care. Like they want email password. A lot of people still expect email password because they might not have Google. They might not want to log in with Google or log in with GitHub. They might want to log in with a throwaway email or password. And so like I just kept hitting issues with like, why is it so hard to get sessions working with email password with Nextauth? And then it feels like it's very coupled to like the middleware too. Like in Next.js, the middleware was written in such a way that it expects you to run on edge. And so like you can't even use like a Postgres driver in your middleware functions, which caused issues with Nextauth because it kind of assumes you're using Next.js the way that Vercel expects you to use it. So I don't know. I just kept running into stuff and I'm like, dude, this is just too much friction for this to actually be a real library to use. So I ditched it, used Lucia, and now look where we're at now. Their way to squash those DB migrations. Yeah, I mean, you could just like, let's say you have like 20 migrations, right? And then if you run them sequentially, it gets your database in the correct format. You can just delete all your migration scripts and then rerun generate, right? And that'll create a new migration script that has literally everything that was needed to create your table to match what it is currently. But I guess you want to make sure you never run that on prod because it's going to try to recreate literally your whole tables. So, I mean, it's okay. I don't think it's a big issue to have like a bunch of migration scripts, right? I'm assuming they run pretty fast. And when you run them against your production database, it only ever runs the ones that haven't ran yet. So it's usually one. But yeah, I think there are ways to squash it. When I migrate, it creates multiple files. How can I keep it in one? When you migrate, it creates multiple files. I'm not really sure. I mean, every time you do a DB generate, it should create one migration file. And if you make changes to your schema, it's going to create a brand new migration file. And so if you want to, I mean, you could like copy and paste things from one migration script and put it in like the previous one. But it's a little bit tricky because then you have to actually understand how this metadata file stuff works. But I guess I would say like, just don't worry if there's a bunch of files, like it's fine. We're using computers that have like 12 cores in them. Like it's fine if it has to run through 10 files. But yeah, if you're doing like this, DB push is there for you to do like rapid prototyping. So if you just want to keep on rapid prototyping locally, you keep doing these things and like get your database into a state that you think it's good, and then just like delete your entire database, rerun your migrations that you currently have, and then you can do a generate, and that'll do the diff against like your schema, your new schema, compare it against your database that's been ran with the set of migration scripts you already have, and then you'll get a new migration script file that has like just a small set of changes you want. So like you shouldn't really need to generate your migration scripts until you're like, okay, I'm ready to get this in production. How can I master my DB skills? I mean, I know how to work with classes and ORM, but I feel like there are things that I miss. I mean, the essential things you probably need to understand are transactions, isolation levels. If you're using Postgres, there are like 4 different isolation levels you can do with transactions, and all of them have different implications to how your database is going to perform. Understanding like SQL statements under the hood, doing a simple select star from a table could potentially do a lot of work under the hood, or if you do like a bunch of inner joins, depending on your where statements and stuff. If you don't have indexes, that could literally read through your whole table. And if you have 10 million rows, that's going to read through 10 million rows and cause some issues on like database performance. Stuff like that, that personally I would just, that's another reason why I just use Convex. I don't want to have to worry about that stuff. But people like Postgres, so I try to use it in my tutorials. Have you tried out Better Auth? I have not tried that yet. I've gone with Kind for the time being until I can figure something out. Yeah, personally, I mean, Clerk, Kind, all these things, they work fine. Like, they're fine, and they have a generous free tier. Like, I think we use Clerk for Project Planner AI. I haven't been charged a penny because you have to get like 10,000 monthly active users to get charged anything, which for 95% of us who are like just hacking on a side project, we are never going to get any users. Even with my almost 250,000 subscribers on YouTube, like the projects I make, this one, I feel like I only have like 1 active user on this project, and it's myself. I have like $50 from paying users. But I feel like a lot of people worry about, like, oh, what if I get users? Like, using Clerk is going to screw me over in the long run. It's like, not really, because you're worrying about a problem you don't have yet. So it's a good way to move forward. But a lot of people just do not like the idea of like using an auth provider, like a third-party auth service. Which is funny because if you work for a larger company, you work for like a government contract, they're going to look at you funny if you be like, oh, we're going to roll our own auth. They're going to be like, why are you not using like AWS Cognito or something? Like, why are you not using like a legit service that handles these things? How would you go about refactoring an existing project? I'll watch your Next.js structuring video. I thought. I guess it depends on how your current project is set up, you know? It's hard for me to tell you how to refactor it if I don't know what it's currently looking like. All right, anyway, let's, what do we got to figure out here? So, like, everywhere that we were calling Lucia before, going to be completely broken now. So now I think I can just import the session type directly from DB schema. User ID, what is that? User ID is set to what? Oh, it's a number, okay. Cursor, get out of here. All right, so here it's definitely causing some issues. So I have the sessions file. This is going to break because it expected Lucia create session and Lucia create session cookie. And I believe it talks about what you need to do here. We have create session. Set session. So I think we could probably call create session. Import that from Auth. And then what does this take now? It takes in a token and a user ID. So how do we get a token? Well, we could probably call generate session token. So let's just, again, we're just trying this out. We'll just say token is equal to generate session token. I'm assuming this uses some type of like crypto. Is this not a promise-based thing? I guess it's fine. So we'll get the token and then we'll pass in the token here. And then we will just do that. So that should give us back a session. But then we need to put that session ID inside a cookie, which honestly, I don't think there's much we got to do there. I mean, like, let's just look at this. That session cookie, that session token cookie. Okay, so there's a method that we're probably going to have to add in. This is already setting it. Session cookie name, session cookie value, session cookie attributes. So like, I don't think I had much on my cookie before. Maybe the ID and the user ID. Session cookie name value attribute. What is this method doing? Go here and look at this real quick. Set name value. Probably should go to the cookies section. Hey, there we go. Let me just grab these things. And we will just put them here, I guess. Takes in a token and it expires at. So in our case, I think we could say session dot and expires at. Token. So right now, token would be the actual like session ID. We could store more on this if you wanted to, but I think just storing the session ID is probably fine. That's nice how they have, like, what's going on here? Why did they do that? Weird. Assert authenticated. That's going to get the user. Validate request. That used to come from my auth thing. I don't have that anymore. Validate session token. Ah, I could probably just use this, right? So instead of validate request, we will call it validate session token. Try this out. So this will grab the session cookie, try to get the value. The value we're storing there is just the session ID. If it's not defined, we just go ahead and return undefined because it's not there. You're obviously not logged in. You don't have a user. Then we're going to go ahead and just take that session ID, and we have to go and look it up in the database, I believe. So check this out. What is this doing? Did I call it DB? Why is that not showing up anywhere? Oh, I think I called it database. But that's not auto-importing. Why is that not auto-importing? I already have it imported. That's why. All right, this code base is going to be a mess until I get this working. So basically, I need to select from users. Wait, hold on. Select from sessions table. What builder is this using? This looks like it's using Keasley or something. Database query session find first where EQ. We want to look up the session in DB by using the session ID that we got. This is expecting the token to be a SHA-56 encoded token. So I'll have to go and refactor that. I think I screwed something up. Okay, so this should give us something. It looks like he's also joining with the user table. Should be potentially undefined. If this is not defined, like I think I copied code that wasn't in the correct location. So if there is no session, then like return null for both of those. Okay. If there is one, you probably also look up the user. And the user should potentially be on the session. So like session NDB is username. Okay, yeah. So this should grab us back the user. And then we can just make sure that session NDB expires. Wait, we should probably just check if it's expired. What's going on here? If the session is expired, we delete it and then return nothing. So we should probably only fetch the user if we know for a fact. Okay, there we go. Definitely want to test all this code at this point. It's getting kind of scary. All right, so now if the database, if the date now is greater than, what is this? This is automatically refreshing the session expire time and extending it by another, I don't know how long that is. 15 days. Let me show you a little tip. Look at that. Now your code can be understood by anyone. This looks like it's 30 days. Okay, so let's just days 15 times 2. I don't like that. I'll just say days 30. And then you can even say like session extend time. But I think it's saying if the session is going to expire within the next 15 days, then go ahead and just set a new expiration time and give it for 30 days into the future. And then it's updating the database. Update, we'll say sessions, and we'll say dot set. Go ahead and set all that stuff. Where, okay, delete all of that. Now, user could be undefined. I don't know why it would be undefined, because if there's a valid session in the database, the user should exist, but I guess technically the user could be like deleted. You could have some type of like race condition. So if there's no user, then like we should probably just delete that session. If there is a user, we can return it. Cool. Now we're cooking, right? Create session. What is this doing? So this is going to take in a token and it encodes it. Curious why we have to do this anyway. I guess I could ask ChatGPT or Cursor, I mean. But anyway, let's just go ahead and fix this real quick. There. Let me go back to chat. Do you by chance know how to work with WebSockets? I mean, I've used Socket.io, and in my project at work, we connect to AWS's WebSocket solution. So I guess you have a question. What's up, Babsy? Would you ever refactor your next Lucia drizzle template to next better auth drizzle? Maybe. I have to try better auth. I don't know. I have to check it out. It's nice to give it your own look. Have to pay extra to really customize things with kind and clerk. I'm using Clack app. Try Clack. Try Clack.com. Yo, I should get like an affiliate link. I feel like this is like the one of the most asked questions on my channel, and I feel like I'm just giving these people just a bunch of free press, you know. One second, I'm just checking something. Let me change my stream name real quick, because I'm actually just like refactoring Starter Kit from there. Logout button was calling invalidate user session, which is calling Lucia. So we'll have to do await session cookie. Oh yeah, I could just call this. Is this a promise? No? So this should call, probably it's like invalidate user sessions button. Validate session token, invalidate a session. Invalidate user sessions, user ID. It's a user ID. And then this should probably delete from sessions where the user. So that is like delete everyone. Validate user session. Authentication. All right, so that was complaining about something. Validate request. Validate session. Yeah, so I feel like this, I need to make one called like function validate request now. And what this needs to do is get the token from the cookie. I guess we don't do anymore. Where's the session set again? Set session cookie, delete session cookie. Export function get session token. But that's going to return so this was just like a thin wrapper function to get the token, and then it validates the session. And this validate session stuff is where it does all that interesting stuff. Create the session, makes the session ID, inserts it. Session token. Validate session. Get the current user. Yeah, I feel like I already have this method. I feel like I already do that. I could find the user. Get session token. I don't know. I'll figure this out. But let's just keep going. So invalidate the session. So I set the cookie. Okay, I don't think I need to do this anymore. Sign out. Okay, technically, if you sign out of one of your browser windows, shouldn't that invalidate everybody? Maybe not. A user signs out of an application. Should it sign them out of all devices? Yeah, I don't think I need to do all devices. I already have a way to do that. Where am I calling this one again? Validate user sessions, validate user action. Where's that being called? Log out button. Log out of all sessions. Why did I call that log out button? All right. Oh, hey, Melky, how's it going? Okay, Melky, one day you'll understand why. But is being engaged the same as being married? But congrats, by the way, that's pretty cool. I am happy for you, my man. What are you up to this night? Hold on, my kid's knocking on the door. This is what you're going to look forward to, Milky. You tell your kids you're going to go do a stream for a little bit. Within 5 minutes, they're knocking on your door, asking you to grab a walkie-talkie. Like, what is it you have to say to me on the walkie-talkie, okay? My fiance invited guests over. Oh, so have you been banished to your man cave or something? He's like, okay, Milky, like, you're too much. Just go to your own room. We'll unlock the door when we're done. I want to start a project using T3 Turbo. Yeah, I think T3 Turbo is probably still good. I haven't used T3 Stack in a while now. Giving them the tour. Is it you got a house or something? Did you just recently get a house? What's the tour of? Lucia being deprecated. Oh, nice, cool. Yo, where do you live? You don't have to say like what state. I thought I knew at one point. Seattle. Okay. But you're not originally from Seattle, right? I feel like I should know by your accent. I don't feel like you're a native Seattlean. Toronto. Toronto. So what do you like better? Seattle, Toronto, Canada versus US? I have so many questions. What auth library am I moving to? I'm just deleting Lucia from my project and just still using Oslo and Arctic for the OAuth stuff. And just kind of rolling my own based on the documentation that Lucia Auth gives. Welcome from Argentina. Why don't you just use Auth JS v5? Because it's still in beta. That's my one thing. I just don't like using beta stuff personally. So the moment they get off of beta and it seems like it's good, maybe I'll switch to it. Yeah, for sure, Milky. I'm sure at some point I'll have to go out there for something. Someone's going to invite me to speak at a conference, and I'll have to pretend like I know what I'm talking about. Yo, remind me again, like, do you work at Amazon? Or do you work at Twitch? I swear you've answered this question at like, okay, yeah. So you work at Twitch. Do you work remote? Or does Twitch have like a headquarters in Seattle? Oh, nice. Does Twitch want to hire a phenomenal Go dev? How's your video SaaS going? What have you been doing? Market it. Video SaaS is going nowhere, just like all my other SaaS products I built. Honestly, I don't know how to market. You would think with my YouTube channel I know how to market. I just don't know how to market things. I can market stuff to devs, but in terms of marketing my other SaaS products, I don't know what I'm doing. Half the people say that it's ruining the internet by generating AI content. So it's like I'm in a sticky situation. Like the only thing it's giving me is credibility because people can watch my content and realize I know how to build stuff. But other than that, I mean, I made $50 from it. Okay, yeah, for sure, Milky. I will think about it. Is it a good work-life balance? That's my main concern. Good work-life balance. Like, do they make you work a ton of extra hours, or is it just 40 hours a week? Okay. And is it like would I have to relocate to Seattle? Because that's also nice. Yeah, I might seriously consider that, honestly. What's the best way developers can market themselves to land clients nowadays? I don't know. I don't really freelance, so I can't really tell you that. But you should probably have a website. That website should have portfolios of things you've built. And you should probably just reach out to people looking for websites and stuff. Yeah, thanks for joining, Melky. Always a pleasure having you in the stream. What's up, Majesty? If you want to make refactor video with it, I can provide you my repo. Refactor video what? You should try to sponsor a small YouTuber that shows how to edit short form content using CapCut. I just launched my SaaS by sponsoring one of my favorite YouTubers, and it went really well. Do you mean like I pay them some money and tell them, hey, can you make a video about using CapCut? and just throw me like a 30-second advertisement of like the video crafter. Yeah, I think that's, if that's what you mean, then yeah. I mean, I think that's the next step I need to do is like reach out to content creators and see if they want to do like a quick little shout out video. Majesty, I just wanted to say that you were a huge reason I got into web development. I finished my degree in computer science next month, so wish me luck on a job. Hey, thanks for letting me know. I appreciate you coming on here and telling me that. And good luck on finding your job. Wait, good. I wish me luck on my job. Oh, it looks like I already have a job. Yeah, you'll be fine. Good luck on your job. I've seen you recommend using Convex. Can you share us how much does it cost for you? I want to start a side project, so I'm not sure if I can get expensive, if it can get expensive quickly. I mean, right now I don't pay anything. I think recently I went over a file bandwidth. So like they give you 50, I think it's 50 gigabytes of bandwidth for file storage, and I recently went to 70. And I think they charge like, is it 30 cents a gigabyte? So I probably owed like $4, $3. But I mean, I also did a bunch of optimization since then because I saw my bandwidth going up. So I don't know if that's a correct estimate for next month. But yeah, I mean, just look through the pricing guide and you just have to figure out like how many queries and how many mutations do you expect to be called every month. Are you using your file storage? Are you using the vector storage? Do I have a master's degree? If so, do you think pursuing a master's is valuable? I think pursuing any type of education is always valuable. Like, higher education is always valuable in terms of you know more, you can connect the dots better, you have spent time, like dedicated time to learn something cool. Now, will you get paid more, and will it be worth more in the long run? I don't know about money, but yeah, I mean, I think the more you know, the more you earn. Personally, I wish I went back for my master's, and I wish I went back for my PhD. Those are two things I wish I did, but having a job and making money instead of being like in debt, sometimes it's a better trade-off, you know? But I think today I could probably just do a master's remotely and probably also do a PhD remotely. It just kind of forces you to like learn something new, you know? It's like, oh, that'd be so cool if I went back for a PhD and learned about computer vision, or I went back for a PhD and learned about AI. I think it's just really cool stuff happening, and you just don't get the opportunity to really learn it unless you force yourself to do it. Granted, I could sit around and read research papers all day, but then I wouldn't be able to make content, so. And I saying you're a YouTuber, I think would do well for your SaaS. They are still small but very engaged audience. Yeah, that's fine. You can send me a message on Discord, or you can send me an email, webdevcody@gmail.com. It type support in it for LLMs to help us write code. Any advice? I work in a 4,000 file JS code base where some of the oldest code is 10 plus years. It uses old prototype building. Maybe start with JS docs or something. You could probably just append JS docs above every single thing. That might help. And then you could probably generate types from the JS docs if you need to. Like maybe the LLMs would be really good at understanding JS docs. But I don't know. You think masters in generative, you think masters in a generative AI is the next thing? I don't think it's the next thing. I mean, I think all this AI stuff you're seeing on the surface, it looks really cool. But then if you dive down to like the research papers, they're probably all just doing the same thing. Like it's just some black box system that does a bunch of like linear algebra that estimates the next best word, and then it strings out a sentence word by word and gives you like a really accurate response. And to the average person, it seems super, super crazy. But then to the researcher, it's like, dude, this is just doing some like really basic stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think doing a master's in any type of AI stuff would be really, really cool. I think it'd be really cool to do. Master's in AI, a master's in like system engineering or system design, a master's in like databases would be really cool. A master's in computer vision. That'd be really interesting to me. And you could probably do like a master's in programming languages. That would be boring to me. Like, I don't care. Where can I send it on Discord? Yeah, so just join my Discord, look for my name, click it, and then you should be able to send me a message. Oh shoot, we got a Raz Mick in the house. What is up? The party now. What's the easiest way to implement analytics in Next.js? Showing visitors a site hosted on Vercel. I use PostHog. I think PostHog has a free tier, like a one free project. Is that what you mean by analytics? Showing visitors a site hosted on Vercel. There's Plausible. Again, if you have money, I mean, like all these solutions are easy. If you're not willing to pay $20 a month, then I guess roll everything yourself. Vercel, I think, even has stuff that you can figure out analytics with. By the way, Razmik, let me give you a shout out, Razmik. YouTube. Should I give Melky a shout out too? He joined the channel. Go check out Razmik. I think he rather likes to go by Michael, but Razmik is his YouTube name. And then we also have Melky. Let me find Melky. Yeah, go give these two fine gentlemen a follow. Show them some love. They joined the stream. How's coding with without using AI going? In that backspace a lot? I know you are. I know you are. Let's see if signing in with Google. No, that probably won't even work. Need to go here and like delete everything. Probably broken. Oh wait, no, this actually works. Let's test it out. Sign in with Google. Click my name. See if it works. Broken. Absolutely broken. Get current user. You must be logged in to view this content. So when I did the Google, it did call back. So Google callback. Okay. And then it should have eventually called set session. And I should have a session in my cookie. Here it is. Curious what's going on there. Expires 24/11, so in about days. Let me just clear all this actually. Clear all this stuff. Try it again. So sign in with Google. Click on my name. That kicks me back to my app. My app should have created a session and it put it there. So I'm wondering if maybe this method, get current user, is just not working the way I thought it would. AV, hey Cody, love your stuff, man. Hey, appreciate it. I feel alive, man. I forgot how to type, but I feel alive. Yeah, I can't go back to not having the autocomplete from AI. It's too valuable to not use it. The other stuff I could potentially go away with, like Composer, it's a nice to have. Half the time it like modifies files I didn't want to modify. Unless you're like very specific and say only touch these 4 files, and then it can do a really good job. And then when you start building up more like context and history, it just does really, really good. The chat feature I like a lot, especially if you just want a really quick way to like ask it a question or like check something if it's secure or not. But I'm gonna tone back on the AI stuff. It seems like people just don't like it. People just seem like they're really frustrated with AI, the generative AI, using AI to code. I'm just like, okay, well, you know what? You guys have your opinion. I have been enlightened from it, so I'm gonna keep on using it. I'm just not gonna promote it as much. I'll let you guys stay in the dark a little bit, and my true followers will be like, okay, I think this guy's onto something. I think he's onto something. All right, what are we doing? Get current user calls validate request. Okay, validate request is calling get session token. Get session token, calling validate session token and doing all this stuff. So I guess what we could do is we know that it's failing here, so we're not getting a user back. And if we go and look at this, print this out real quick. See what we get. Refresh the page. Session token. So we are getting back a token. So it must be failing here where it's validating it. So let's look at this code. This code is broken. Let's look at this. One of these is just not working the way it should. Token, session ID. Let's look at drizzle. Okay, let's click on this. Go over here. Go check chat real quick. Have you tried Claude Dev? I have not. I mean, I use Claude AI, which is the model that Cursor uses. What do you think of Laravel? I'm sure it's fine. I don't know. Just gonna stick to what I know. Autocomplete is nice. Do you have a video on Cursor? Oh yeah, I think I have one video on Composer. I'm done with AI coding videos too, LOL, but I'm gonna ship like a madman with AI. I tried Cursor because of you, and it's amazing. AI is just another tool, nothing to hate about it. I love the AI videos. I can't go back to without it. Save me so much time. The technology keeping better. Razmik, I'm curious why you're done with the AI videos. Are you getting a lot of hate too? It's crazy because like I've literally even had people reach out to me and like they're working a full-time job at a big company. They're like, bro, I use Cursor literally daily because it's making me like, or not Cursor, but just like LLMs in general, because it's making them so productive. Like the amount of code we're able to churn out now, like it's crazy. And after 11 years of experience, I have seen developers sit there and try to read a file using Node for like 30 minutes. They're struggling to figure out how to import file system and then like read a file and then take that CSV they just read and convert it to a like JSON file or convert it to JSON and then like loop through the JSON. It's like, bro, that Cursor could knock that out in 5 seconds. Literally 5 seconds. Completely done. Let's move on to the next task. And then like you work at companies and you're like, well, we don't want you to use AI tooling when you're coding because it could like, scan your code base. And it's like, bro, okay, whatever. I guess pay me to move slow then, I'll just go to Stack Overflow like a caveman and copy and paste stuff and go through the docs when literally cursor can knock this out in 5 seconds. But, you know, it's whatever. I can't even like tell you the amount of times like we've wasted just like on the dumbest bugs. Like, oops, we just forgot to put an S at the end of a variable name, and now that's 2 hours of our day gone, completely gone. Versus I could just Command L, ask cursor, hey, what's the issue with this? Boom, fixes it. That just saved you 2 hours of debug time. Like, we're living in a time, it's like crazy. And then there's people who are like, ugh, it's all slop. Like, bro, I don't know where you guys are coming from, because like this is, I wish we had this 11 years ago. I wish we had this. Like, the people now entering the industry who are really good at like learning these things, they're going to be like the best. Maybe I'm just too optimistic about stuff. And like, I'm a pretty pessimistic person. Like, I think everything's dumb. I even have a video when AI first came out, like ChatGPT. I'm like, this is stupid. This thing doesn't work. And I definitely changed my tune within a year. I'm like, dude, this is actually insane. All right, I told you I'm gonna stop talking about AI though, but this is my like my streams, you know. This is my true followers are watching my stream right now, so they get to get the inside knowledge. All right, why is this not working? So I signed in. I am gonna wrap this stream up here in like 5 minutes though. I think I've been streaming for an hour, 20 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up soon. Let's sign in. That's going to go ahead and it created a session. Cool. Refresh this. We got a session ID 631. 631. Okay, so the ID it's storing in my cookie is the actual session ID, and I think that might be the problem. I think what needs to happen is I probably need to encode, validate session, encodes SHA-256, encode the token. Wait, why is this 30 days again? How did I fix that? Like right now, what should I do to fix this issue? There seems to be an issue. Let's just try to leverage AI. There seems to be an issue with my auth when I try to validate the session via validate request. It fails. It seems like the session ID I'm storing in the cookie matches the session ID in the database. Can you double check I didn't forget to encode or decode this token somewhere? Check out session as well. Session auth. Watch this. It's probably going to fix my issue. I've identified a potential issue. The mismatch is likely occurring because of how the session ID is being generated and stored. Let's go through the process of making the necessary adjustments. Before we do that, though, I am going to commit because I don't want this to completely blow away all my changes that I just did. So let's make a branch. I'll say remove Lucia, add this, commit it, remove Lucia, push it. Look at that. Like a boss. Let's go to Auth.js and let's just apply these changes. Apply it to the entire file. What did it change though? Set session token cookie. Session ID session. Okay, that didn't do anything. Token. That's the issue. I bet you this is the issue right here. Accept it. Save it. And I think I need to re-sign in because it probably stored a bad token. Fixed. Look at that. Like I said, learn when to use cursor. I guarantee you it's going to fix your issues so much faster than you just stumbling around using your debugger, adding console logs. Like, just prompt it and say, yo, fix my stuff, and it will. Like, it's crazy. When it's your first 2 to 3 years as a new dev now with AI, do you think using tools like Cursor AI and ChatGPT have any negative in contrast to the old days of going through Stack Overflow and trial and error, retaining information? Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to, like, if you just blindly use Cursor, you're not learning about what it's doing, then yeah, I mean, like, it's detrimental. Like, you need to understand the code that it's changing. You saw I just looked at the git diff and instantly I'm like, okay, I made a silly little typo. I was doing token.id here instead of actually just doing token. And that caused my issue. How many more minutes or hours would that have taken me to figure out? If you're a noob, if you're a beginner, sorry, noob's a mean word. If you are fresh out the gate with coding, it could take you 5 days. I have literally tried to fix bugs that have taken me like a whole week, and it's a simple issue like this. Because you haven't learned how to properly debug. You haven't learned how to properly add console logs, where you should be looking for the issue. You haven't learned how to trace the code base. And that stuff you're not going to learn if you just let AI fix all your issues. Okay, so I do think, you know, like you're saying, doing the trial and error, but I will say at some point, you do need to be productive. You're being hired to do a job. People want you to be productive. And it takes you 5 days because you're stuck on a simple little bug like this where you're doing, I don't even know what the diff was. Let's go look at the diff. This is the one change that I'm pretty sure fixed it. I was doing session.id here instead of passing the token. It's dumb. These are the dumb things that you're going to run into as a coder, like, all the time. It's like, okay, I'd made a simple human error where I passed in the wrong thing. Granted, I'm streaming and talking to you guys, so I'm like 50% actually paying attention to what I'm doing. But getting good at debugging, I think, is step one. And once you've been doing it for a while, that's when you're like, okay, I know this is a simple bug. AI, just fix it for me. Like, please just fix it for me. And then also, like, I don't know. I mean, like, just learn how to use these tools. Like, for example, I could also say, can you double check all this code for any potential security issues related to cookies, sessions, etc. Okay, so it's giving me some suggestions. Lax is a good default, but consider using strict. So from the get-go, I mean, it seems like the cookie stuff I'm using is good. This is a secure method. The use of random bytes ensures cryptographically strong. Okay, so like good. Consider using assault, so I can make it even more secure with assault, I guess. Logout functionality, ensure the logout functionality of sessions both on the client side and the server side. Implement this function to remove the session from the database. Am I not doing that? Okay, where's this file? I don't even have a logout file. What's it talking about? I don't know. Anyway. I don't know if I answered your question. I'm just like rambling at this point, but there's like a gray area, right? Like, you can't just become overly dependent on AI, but at the same time, you can't blatantly ignore the fact that this stuff is making us productive. And it's not even that. If you understand the solution AI gave you, lesson learned. I can't even tell you how many times I have written code, and then the next week, a coworker comes and says, hey, Cody, can you explain this code? And I'm like, dude, I don't even remember anything I just wrote. Like, our human memories, the average human memory is just not that good. We can't remember all this code that we're writing, and you're writing thousands of lines of code. At some point, you're like, dude, I don't even understand this code. So then you have to come back and like review it and relearn it and re-understand it. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, I wrote this because X, Y, and Z. It's like, so yeah, you can understand what Stack Overflow told you at the time, but then like, are you going to recall that in a week? Probably not. Just the time it takes to find the right packages is insane. Yeah, I mean, even that, it's like, dude, I need a drag and drop library. Okay, let me go to Google. Let me go to NPM. There's like 15 that pop up. Let me go through them. Oh, this one's deprecated. Oh, this one hasn't been updated in 2 years. Oh, this one seems like it's pretty cool. You install it, it doesn't work. You go look at the issues on GitHub. There's like 5,000 open issues. You're like, okay, well, I guess I'm just bringing in tech debt into my project. But it's like all this extra stuff that's like, dude, just give me a library that works. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm just jaded. I'm just jaded at this point. But it's like, I just want to be productive. I just want to ship my product. And if it's centered around security, yes, you need to slow down and like double check everything. If you're adding API endpoints, you better make sure that it's authenticated. You better make sure there's authorization and role checking going on, right? And again, like manually inspect the code, treat it like a pull request from a junior developer, read through it, and you're like, okay, well, you missed this, that, and the other. Let's fix it. But even so, like, I feel like there's some devs who feel like, who think that they are super smart, but they're not understanding that the bell curve of developers, like, we're all average. And we're not going to know of everything. We're not going to be able to find everything in a security review. And if you just let AI help review the code in some way, like even as a second line of defense, like it's these type of things that you have to do, in my opinion. Like it would be dumb not to. Like you have this huge model that's been trained on terabytes of data. I don't even know how much data has been trained on. And you're not going to ask it, hey, can you refactor this code? Hey, can you check this code? I don't know. As you can tell, I'm kind of passionate about it, but like people just seem like I haven't seen as many angry comments about AI since I've started making like AI related content. Like people are just, they're tired of it. Okay, I'll just use it in secret. It's fine. We sent out interview projects last week asking them to exclusively use AI. Yeah. The devs hated, the non-devs love, but they think they're better than devs. Some folks, I'm a no-code AI guy. No, I mean, it's funny. Some devs think they're so good, and then, like, I bet you if you were to watch them code for an hour, like, record your screen, let me see you code for an hour. You probably watch them and just laugh. You're like, dude, like, you're just as bad as I am. Like, why are you, like, you have this ego to you, but you're just as bad as I am. I see you making typos. I see you struggling for 30 minutes thinking about how to solve a problem. Like, I don't know. Funny. I'm just refactoring. So just joined. What are we fixing? I'm refactoring my starter kit. Lucia Auth is getting deprecated, and I'm just removing it all. We're not encoding auth session cookie. The last job we were doing. I just had 3 days to learn React before starting to work on it. I mean, that's kind of like not that much time. It's good to know things because you can then better tell AI where to look. Yeah. Right. I'm coming from a perspective where I've been coding for like 11 years professionally, right? So my perspective is different. My perspective again is like, dude, I can see, it's like PTSD. I can take flashbacks of like the wasted hours I've spent on coding versus if you were to flip it, a perspective of a newcomer, they haven't experience that. And so they might just be using AI, and then like the AI gets stuck, and they're like, well, I don't know how to fix this because I don't even know how to code, and the AI doesn't know how to fix it. So now you guys are just both screwed, right? How is Convex treating you? I mean, I don't work at Convex, but I like their service. As you can tell, I use it on my side projects. Have you ever tried negative space programming? I don't know what that is. 10 years coding will not go back from cursor. Oh my god, like 14 years. Yeah. Now, granted, like, I haven't tried it on a large code base. Like at work, our clients don't really want us to use AI tools that like traverse a whole code base, which is interesting because our whole code base is public source. It's open source. Like anyone can go and read it, which is even more confusing because it's like, why do you not want AI tools used on a project that's already open source? I guess I just don't want keys grabbed by these toolings. But yeah, like I was saying, I just don't know. Like, has anyone used Cursor on a project that has like 500,000 lines of code? Does it even work that well if you have that much code? Bounty Hunter. How often do you stream on Twitch and YouTube? Only catch your uploaded videos on YouTube. Usually it's like once a week on a Sunday or something, or a Saturday on a weekend. So, lucky for you, you caught me on a day that I stream. And it's spontaneous. It's just whenever I get time or energy, I'll hop on a stream. Is it okay to apply for jobs at the end of the year or wait for next year? I guess it's fine. I feel like during Christmas time and like holidays, I'm guessing they're probably a little less serious about hiring people because everyone's on vacation and taking time off. But I wouldn't see it be an issue applying to them anyway. Do you use OpenNext when you deploy Next? Right now I'm just using a VPS. What would you recommend if I'm not allowed to use AI tools because I'm working on financial app of a bank? What are the options? Are you even allowed to use like Claude or GPT that ask questions? Or like is that blocked as well? Like I can understand, great, that I can understand not using Cursor. Okay. Having this tool that literally traverses your whole code base and then sends it off to the internet, probably not a great idea if you're building like a super secure system in that you can't trust a third party where all your code's going. If you commission an artist for some artwork, would you want them to use AI? I don't care what they use. I just want my product. I want them to deliver what I asked for. If I ask a musician to make me music, if it sounds good when I listen to it, I don't care if they used AI to produce it. I don't care if they did it themselves. I just want it made, and I want it made relatively quick. Same with artwork. Same with a programming project. I don't care how it's done. Just make sure it's done well and deliver it to me. But maybe I have a different perspective. I've seen the artwork that like Flux and other models have generated, and to me, like I think it's good. And you go talk to someone else and they're like, ew, this is gross, this artwork looks terrible, and you're like, okay. Maybe I don't have a sophisticated mindset. I find coding more fun again after ditching AI Copilot auto completions. I never really found coding fun. I think coding was more of like a means to the end. I think building the product is fun. Seeing the product be created and shipping that's fun. Writing the code, I don't care. Like I just, bro, like all the code we have to write just to get a drop down showing up, if you think about it, it's insane. Like 50 lines of code just to get a drop down and a button in it. I don't want to write that. Like if no code editor tools were like more flexible and like more adopted, like can I just click and drag a drop down into this box? And then can I click and drag a line that connects the button to a backend node? And then inside of this node, can I click it and dive into my backend code base and then like click and drag an authentication block? And then like click a toggle and say, okay, I wanted to use JWT authentication here. And then add another block and say, you know what, I want this to be only admin roles. Like the amount of time we spent trying to understand code is like, it's crazy. I just don't think anyone has built the proper no code tool that like really makes it flexible. I'm probably just losing my mind after coding for so long. The real node coding. Yeah, for real. I mean, if you really think about code, code is just a bunch of like function calls a function that calls a function. It's just a giant like dependency tree. So if you can click and drag arrows from your functions or your like abstractions from one abstraction to the next abstraction, which I've seen a couple of tools out there that kind of do that. Like Maker is that one where basically you can have like a function that calls like a backend endpoint, and then it calls like an aggregate function. Like using diagrams to make your code. If there's any good ones out there, let me know. Maybe I need to dive into that as well, but well, I mean, like Dennis KR, like what are you actually doing in Golang? Are you just making REST API endpoints? Because that's like, if that's what you're doing, like that's not hard either, honestly. Making a REST API endpoint or GraphQL endpoint, like just because you're using Go versus Node versus Ruby, like the overall thing we're trying to achieve can very easily be automated. Like I need a route, that route has to do some stuff, run authentication, talk to a database, maybe pull something from S3, run a little bit of code, send back a response. So even me, like to me, it's like I don't want to do that either. Like that's just repetitive, boring stuff. Like building API endpoints, REST API endpoints, that's boring. Like there's nothing innovative going there. And so I don't know. I just reached a point where I'm like, dude, just let AI replace everything. I want to be productive. I don't want to have to sit there building like all this stuff over and over again. Like I think at work, our project has like 160 REST API endpoints. And after you built like the 112th one, you're like, dude, I'm getting tired of doing this. Anyway, I think, let me just test this out real quick. I got it working with Auth. I don't know why the fonts are all messed up. Maybe that's the font I chose for this project for some reason. Sign in with GitHub too and see what happens. Signing with GitHub, it works good too. Awesome. Now I just need to check that email works. Let's just sign in with the magic link. Broken. API key is invalid. Dev only enabled. Oh, that's probably something else. Sign in with email. Let's see if this works. Actually, I don't think I have an account. Let me make one. A user with the email already exists. Really? Okay. If this lets me sign in. Invalid password. I don't know what my password was. Can I just delete this user? Here's users accounts. Here's user. who are these emails? This is all local. I'm not sure who those emails are. API key is invalid. I mean, it's probably trying to send out an email right now, and I don't have that. Rate limit by IP, register user use case, set the session. That takes in a user ID, redirect. So in here, it's probably trying to send out an email. Because if I checked Drizzle, I bet you I have a user now. Yep, there it is. An email. Get rid of this. I think this will work fine now. I just need to like delete that. All right, that's gone. Cool. Yeah, I think I successfully got rid of Lucia Auth from this entire project. I'm going to double check, probably even triple check all the code that I just removed and changed, because whenever you mess around with Auth, like, be a little sketch. But for now, I'll just commit this. And, all right, any final questions? I'm actually going to wrap up the stream here. I think I've got it working fine. Sounds like you hate coding. It's not that I hate coding. I mean, it's just coding is a mean to the ends, you know? It's like, I like building. I like the idea of like a user actually using what you built. And the coding part is just like this necessary step that we have to do to get there. And once you've done it enough, it's just not like, it's not enjoyable. No matter how many IDEs you switch, using NeoVim is not going to make it more enjoyable, you know? What is WDC? WebDev Cody. What is the best way to learn React? Build stuff with React. Honestly, that's like the only good way you can learn anything from my perspective is to build stuff. The font is based on your browser's default font. You need to change it in your browser setting. What are you using now instead of Lucia? I am just rolling my own. I'm just following the Lucia docs and rolling my own. It was literally like 4 functions I had to implement and just refactor a couple places in my code base. And I was refactored off of it. So Arctic and Oslo, I am using that's mainly for the OAuth stuff, which doesn't change. So I don't think I'm not as concerned with those, because the maintainer of Lucia, whatever it's called, he said he's going to keep maintaining those libraries. But if you just look at those libraries, I guarantee they're just under the hood, just making requests to like the Google OAuth API. Like if I were to go to Google and like look at this, I don't have any like Google code anywhere. It just calls methods that are in Arctic, and this method probably knows how to call Google and like create a code verifier and do all this other stuff. So again, like not too hard to do. I don't know, Cursor, when you have the fast credits, I mean, like, the autocomplete seems good. And, like, another thing is, I sometimes just sit in bed and I code with one hand. I literally code with my right hand. Most of the stuff, most of this application, I kid you not, I coded with one hand by typing in a couple things into Cursor, maybe using voice to text. I let Cursor implement the pages, and then I just approve the code. Like, literally, this whole section, opened up Composer and Cursor and said, hey, I need you to add some tabs in this page that say like draft, unpublished, and published. And then I clicked enter and it added it for me. And then I can go and actually like navigate. Now, obviously I prompted it a little bit more and it probably took me a couple iterations to get it. But like I can achieve so much more now and not have to code. Like I don't have to type. I used to be big into like learning how to type fast because like the faster you type, the faster you can code, and that means you could be more productive. And that's just been like thrown out the window. Like I would literally go to like Code Racer. Like remember that community project I did where we tried to build like this app where we can all race together and code, and like whoever could type the fast with like typing JavaScript would win. Like I'm not even lying. Like that's stuff that I enjoy doing is like, can you type code really fast? And I got really good at it. And now like AI is basically saying, you know, all that time you invested becoming good at coding fast, it doesn't matter. And that took a while for me to swallow because I had some pride in being able to type code fast. But it's just becoming tab, 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 and it's all done for you, you know? You need to update your potato. Okay, get a faster potato because like let's see how fast I can type with coding. Just do this real quick. Let's start a lesson. Let's do some JavaScript. Like I used to go to these sites and like practice typing because like I hate when I like try to type out code and then I type in the wrong thing.
Hello everyone.
Oh, screwing up there. Can't even type anymore. Cursor is ruining my ability.
Have you ever wondered how
because
websites come to life?
And I'm
how
okay with that, you know?
to your actions?
Because this is the tedious stuff that's like I don't want to do this anymore.
And create interactive.
And as I get older, it's just harder to type. Like my fingers like legit hurt sometimes. Some people have arthritis and can't actually type. So this is just like opening up so many opportunities to people who might have accessibility issues, disability issues. Like all this code I'm typing. I know you guys understand the point I'm making. I'm just having some fun right now. Like, so many issues, but 65 words per minute. You know how long this would take Cursor to spit out for you? 2 seconds. Like, it's crazy. Ugh, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, even using something like Super Maven, Copilot was cool, but it just didn't run fast. And then Cursor's just more integrated. Is the WDC Starter Kit good for e-commerce? Yeah, I mean, it has Stripe set up, but it's Stripe subscription, so you'd probably have to end up doing a lot of refactoring around Stripe and like creating products in Stripe and then hooking them in to sell them, but it wouldn't be too hard, I don't think. Like you could strip away all the Stripe subscription stuff and then you'd have to create a shopping cart. It'd be a little bit of work. You'd have to do some work. But it's a good example if you want like a more structured code base, in my opinion. I just downloaded Cursor in the middle of your speeches. And it's actually amazing. Use GitHub Copilot in the past, and it was okay at best, but Cursor actually feels more integrated. Yeah, I mean, I wish I had stock in these companies that I promote, because like I don't promote stuff unless I really like it, honestly. All right. Do you guys enjoy the stream? I know I went off on a couple of soapbox tangents there, but just need to get that off my chest. I'm tired of seeing slop dev all over the place. You're just a slop dev who uses AI. Yeah, I'm a slop dev, but I can churn out features 4 times faster now, so it is what it is. Granted, some of this Lucia Auth stuff, like, that took a little bit of rolling up my sleeves, you know? Any last questions? Here's a crazy example of how AI could have saved me 30 minutes. I had a client component and a server component, passed some props, but forgot to add curly braces in the client component so could get the values. 30-minute wasted. Bro, that's just one example of 1,000. Like, oh, you forgot to put use client at the top of your file, but you're tired and the error message is so convoluted that now you just spent 20 minutes trying to understand what's going on, and oops, you just need to put use client at the top of some random file. It's stuff like that. It's like, what's the keyboard? I'm using a virtualized keyboard. It's called Clack. Try clack.com. Yeah, but I like the image component too much. I need an alternate solution for that. I can't even scroll on my chat. What's going on here? Yo, this is like the worst. Okay. This is my complaining stream. Why on the YouTube chat, when I try to click on someone's name, like the whole row is clickable? I just want to select some text. That's it. Like, why would you make the whole row clickable? Especially since there's a thing over here that I can click. I sometimes feel like the people who make software do not do user testing. Like, they don't even spend 5 minutes to ask the user, hey, do you guys like this live chat feature? And they'd be like, no, why is it that, like, I'm trying to just select some text from my streamer, and then this thing pops up to block everything I'm doing? Or maybe they have done the research. Maybe YouTube has that, but it's been thrown in Jira and it's a ticket. Priority of 0. Time estimate of a 21 pointer. And they're just never going to get to it. Maybe in 10 years they'll get to it. Maybe because of the zoom. I don't know. It's like if I zoom out too. No, it's just like anything I click on. Like, granted, it's less annoying because it's over to the right. But like Twitch has it right. I can literally select and paste code from here. Some people like reading code, like reading text. They like to click and highlight the text as they read it. Or if I want to like really point something out to my viewers, like whatever this is, I can highlight it for my viewers. Like, this is what I'm talking about right here. I work with software and can confirm. Never did a user interview. Smiley face. Yeah, it's like, the sad part is true. I mean, there's so many people who are shipping software and like their product owners tell them what to do. Their business analysts tell them what to do. Their project manager tells them what to do. Why are the users not telling you what to do? You're building the software for users. The user should be telling you what to do. What's up, Owen Codes? Melky Party. Is this a Melky fan? Owen Codes. Owen Codes. That sounds familiar. Owen Codes. Have I watched you? Are you a streamer? Welcome, welcome. Anyway, Well, thanks for joining. I'm actually going to wrap this up. I've been streaming for 2 hours now, so hope you guys enjoyed. I'll probably make a video about this Lucia thing soon. And yeah. Stay tuned for next week. Maybe I'll stream again. Anyway.